we were just out there doing our Beatles thing and doing our, British invasion stuff. And man, there's Bruce Springsteen up in the balcony watching us, giving us, and wow, what a thrill that was.
So he's obviously a Beatle lover.
Beatle lover, of course. Yeah. And then, so my wife was in the crowd, and like during the break, I said, hey, if Bruce ever comes back, try to go up to him and say hi, or tell him I said hey, So she got, when Bruce came back, he came back with Patty, his wife, and so my wife went up to him and said, excuse me, Bruce, that's my husband, he's the lead singer. And Bruce goes, oh, wow, hey, what's his name, man? I want to... So he goes, hey, Jay, sounds great. Bruce Springsteen, he signed this poster for me.
Oh, nice.
Beautiful, beautiful surprise. Because I had my wife tell me.
Now, did you get to meet him at that?
No, I met him later. I met him later at the, in '98 when he was getting at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We were so busy on stage. We were performing like a whole 7 hours throughout the day. So when Bruce came by and other bands were coming by to see us, we were on stage all the time. So I didn't want to stop the music, nor did I want to say, hey, everybody, there's Bruce Springsteen. Hey, Bruce, come on down and join us right now.
He might not appreciate that.
No. We probably wouldn't appreciate it.
So if when you're playing sets like that where you're playing, you said 7 hours a day?
Well, yeah, in Cleveland it was because we were stuck in this whole.
How long do you do a set? I mean, before you take a break. I mean.
Well, we were doing like hour sets and then taking like a half hour and then another hour.
And was it the same music over and over? Or
No.
It was. So you had there's enough there to.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, and what was great about the Beatle Brothers, we never rehearsed. We only had one rehearsal out of the whole history of that band, and that was the night after the radio show. And Phil and I got our first gig. We came to my garage and we said, we got to put a show together. We're playing a bar next week. So we just, all these Beatles songs along with all these Stones and Who and whatever we threw together. We threw it together, had that one rehearsal, and then that was it. If anything, we ever tried anything new, we would just try it and say, hey, learn this song, okay. Learn the Bee Gees, To Love Somebody, okay, yeah. And we would just do it right there. And if we screwed it up, we screwed it up. Our crowds came to have a good time.
Sure.
So we'd be like, okay, we got a request to play this song by the Bee Gees. We don't know how it's going to be, but here it is.
They're not all out there critiquing you.
Yeah. Well, everybody's having a good time, and fortunately, we did our homework on our own, and when we performed it live, it was.
How many songs do you have in your library up here in your library?
Hundreds.
Hundreds?
Hundreds. Yeah.
I mean, that you can do.
Yeah.
That you can perform.
Pretty much, yeah.
So you could just. Well, that's interesting. That's pretty incredible.
And it's mainly from the '60s. The '60s and all the Beatles songs, and then. After the Beatle Brother period, there was the band Instant Karma, which was the John Lennon.
Well, how long did the Beatle Brother period last?
Well, the Beatle period, Beatle Brothers still is kind of going on. So
it is. The band's.
But it kind of went away a little bit. Phil needed a break. He wanted to take a break from it all in 2003. And
so what? 3 years?
So
from 2000 to 2003.
Well,
was it?
Well, no, he stopped in 2003.
Oh, he stopped. But you
stopped.
guys kept playing.
But I formed a band called Instant Karma.
Okay, so Beatle Brothers kind of dissolved in 2003.
Kind of dissolved into three, and then but then we played.
Instant Karma. What? Where did that name come from?
Oh, just because it's such a great song. I thought, well, geez, great song. It'd be a great name for a John Lennon tribute band. So
okay.
So we formed the band Instant Karma. And we played all over the place, and one of the highlights of Instant Karma was being invited to the International Beatle Week in Liverpool, England.
Oh,
so
that's a drive.
2005. Yeah. Well, what's cool is. we were invited to play this festival out there. It's called Beatle Week, and it's 1 week of just hundreds of Beatle bands from all over the world coming to Liverpool and performing.
How many different stages
all
did they
these
have?
different stages, from to the Adelphi Hotel to all the different clubs.
So did you guys rotate around to different clubs, or how did that work?
Well, we'd have about 12 shows for the whole week that we would do, and they're all like 45 to an hour sets.
Now, did
So
each band rotate around?
Yeah, you go to wherever Liverpool, they'd make a schedule out for you, for every band that would come out. So,
And was there a prize for the best band, or was it more just for fun?
Oh, it was definitely for fun and to just.
So I was just wondering.
To play in the Holy Land,
Okay,
This was Liverpool, England. This is where your heroes grew up. So the first year, 2005, was so magical because we went there and not knowing what to expect, But we had a gig inside Strawberry Fields. It was the first time they let bands come inside the Strawberry Fields, where the song where John Lennon wrote it.
Yeah, well, what is that? What is
it was a Salvation Army type of, they'd have kids staying there, kind of like a foster. We'd call them foster homes,
Okay.
And that's what it was, but it had closed.
Okay.
And so in 2005, they opened it up and let bands play inside. And our band, Instant Karma, was the very first band to play inside there. We had a 12 noon show there, and I just remembered being there.
Kind of magical for you.
Magical, and then John Lennon's sisters there in the crowd. And then all of a sudden we're singing, and there's a tear in her eyes. And she comes up to me after the show, and we become great friends.
Did you know that was his sister at the time?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you did.
Yeah. I was like, oh wow, this is so cool. I was like, being here in Liverpool, you're just like, wow, this is so great, and so it's like being in the Super Bowl. You as a wrestler, it would be like you're in the Olympics, right?
Sure.
That's where this whole feeling came from. So. And then seeing John Lennon's sister, and then seeing people like Denny Lane walking by, or people who were connected with the Beatles, all there, and Jerry Martin.
Did you know them when you saw them walking by, or
yeah, I didn't
just
know.
get introduced later?
I got introduced, but they all come to your shows, and then they come up to you, and it's like, oh my God, that was just Jerry and the Pacemakers saying how much they enjoyed the show. How cool is that? I mean, it was like every dream you could have possibly dreamed.
Oh, fun for you.
Billy J. Kramer, he was there. Just people who were connected with the Beatles story, and then they embrace you.
How did you get invited to that?
Well, through the Beatle Fest, the festival for Beatle fans that would come to Chicago every year. I met this guy named Neil Ennis, and Neil's in a band called the Ruddles. And I got to talking to him, and he was telling me that, hey, you should get your band here. And I'm like, oh, can you put in a good word for us? So he put in a good word for us, and then I sent Liverpool the information about us, and Liverpool invited us. So the other great thing was I worked for American Airlines. And I've been with American Airlines loading airplanes for 30 years.
Oh.
So that's what I do for a living. I'm on my knees. I'm loading airplanes by the morning, and then I'm a singing whore at night. And that's Horror. Horror is right. No, but so that's what I do in the daytime. So I went to American and told them, had to introduce myself to the vice president and asked them, hey, our band got invited to England. I was wondering if you could sponsor us, if you could sponsor the band and get us to England, to Liverpool, England. I go, you'll have a band to play your parties, to play whatever. And sure enough, we got the sponsorship.
Wow.
And American
Nice.
Airlines has been sponsoring bands of mine for like the last 10 years.
Very nice.
So they've been
Very
very,
nice.
very good. Way to go. AA.com, if you're flying, get out there. Do it. We're American Airlines doing what we do best. Yeah. Which is probably sleeping. No, only kidding. No, if you come looking at me. But,
No, it's pretty incredible that they do that, so.
oh,
Yeah.
man. You know, got some great stories, just some great things. I've been very fortunate in my life to be involved in music and Beatle music, and all these magical things have happened, from meeting every idol that I've ever had, from Paul McCartney coming to Chicago and meeting him, to this one and that one. It's been quite a ride. People call me like Forrest Gump and everything else. And there are a lot of times where I'm like, okay, that was a Gump moment. That was definitely, you know.
You know, I've seen you perform a few times.
No.
And I notice, you know, you'll sing and you're all over the stage. But you do one thing, that when you take the microphone on the cord and you swing it around like chucks.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I got that from Roger Daltrey.
Did you ever have an issue with that?
Oh yeah, I had two things just recently happen. You know, now when you do that, you're swinging the mic around like that. You know, you have it taped up. The cord is taped onto the microphone. Okay, so usually it doesn't rip off, or you're not hitting somebody, but I've gotten really good at it, you know, and I used to tell the bands that, hey, no sudden movements, because if you're there, I could come within an inch of your nose. Now, I'm not going to hit your nose, but if you did one of these, you're going to get clocked, you know, any sudden movement, you know, like don't, so I tell the guys in the band, so if you see the mic going around, no sudden movements. So I just got back, I was playing some shows in Brazil. And I, just as a joke of it, thought we did a Who song in one of the bars. And I was kind of flipping around a little bit. Well, some guy gets up out of his seat and is walking, and I had to turn it, and it hit me right in the, it cut my lip.
Oh, yeah?
So I got hit. That was one accident. Then just recently, a few weeks ago, I was playing a private party, and I was doing the Who thing. The mic flew right into the audience.
Was it?
Good thing it didn't hit anyone.
Yeah.
But the tape was on it. The cord broke.
Oh.
The cord mysteriously broke. So, which never happens. So it goes up in the air and they have the lights on. You know, sometimes you lose it. And it's either hits you or, you know.
Did you ever have the mic go out while you were singing doing that?
Oh, all the time.
Oh, does it? Yeah.
All the time, you know. And it's usually the sound man saying, okay, you're going to do that. You know.
Now,
and then I go like this, and okay.
Do you prefer to use the cord, or you do use the mic?
Yeah, I use the cord.
All the time?
Yeah. The Shure Beta 58 is just the greatest microphone, I think. You know, I mean, there's other microphones, and there's some great cordless microphones that you could walk around. I just prefer having that one. You know, I mean, I've used some of the wireless ones, but I don't know, I kind of like having the cord.
So Instant Karma goes to Strawberry
Yeah.
Fields.
Yeah.
And you guys knock them dead.
Play some incredible shows.
You meet a bunch of affluent people.
Yeah.
And you come back to the States, and what happens?
Well, these big crowds that you have in England, people are just like, wow, you know, all over you know, and it's great because the people are so nice, so kind. I mean, walking in restaurants in Liverpool, and they're like, oh, I seen your show, let me get you a seat, you know, we got something for you, you know. I mean, you feel like, wow, I actually feel like I'm a, you know, rock and roll star or something like this. It's a great feeling. Yeah, and come back home and you deal with, you know, the usual stuff. It's like, oh God, it's like Dorothy on The Wizard of Oz waking up, you know. Oh, it was just a dream.